Hello students, welcome back for the chapter Control and Coordination. So in the previous sessions we discussed about control and coordination in animals. In today's session we are going to discuss about control and coordination in plants. So students, we know that we human beings and animals and other like birds, we all have certain systems which perform similar functions and which will control our and coordinate our body accordingly, right? But what about in case of plants? Plants do not have any kind of system, like they don't have any circulatory system, they don't have any digestive system. Then how do plants respond and how do the control and coordination in plants will happen? That we are going to discuss in today's class. So in this sub-concept coordination in plants, we will cover immediate response to stimuli. Now what is under stimuli here? Anything. See, I will explain this stimuli process with an example. See, in control and coordination of animals, I will take from the animals an example, the touching of a hot pan. Touching of a hot pan, it is the stimulus. Whereas taking away quickly our hand from the hot pan, it is called response. Okay. So reacting to the changes in the environment, it is the changes in the environment is stimulus. Whereas reacting to the changes in the environment, it is response. Okay. Do remember these two terms, stimulus and response. So immediate response to the stimulus. If stimulus happens, then there will be surely there will be a response. Okay. So stimulus means it is the change in the environment or change in the behavior. It is called stimulus. Whereas reacting to the change or reacting to the behavior is nothing but the response. So now in coordination in plants, we will study how plants will respond to certain stimulus. Okay. And what are the stimulus? Do plants respond for? That too we will cover. And next, movement due to growth. Even plants make movement, right? Like how we animals and human beings make movement. Similarly, even plants do have movement. But you students will think that how can plants move? Yes, but actually plants can move. Just the difference is we can change our location, but plants, they cannot change their location. Instead, they can make some movement. Here, keep in mind, movement is nothing but not changing from one place to another place. Movement, it might be the movement of some parts of the body instead of the whole body. We human beings, we can change, we can get movement through the whole body. But plants, they will also make movement, but not the whole body, but they can move their body parts. Okay. So hence plants can also do movement and they show the movement also for the growth, because of the growth. And in this sub-concept we will come across also the subtopic, that is tropism. And here you will see what is meant by tropism. In that tropism you will study different types of tropism, which will be phototropism, chemotropism, thigmotropism, hydrotropism, geotropism. I repeat, phototropism, chemotropism, thigmotropism, hydrotropism, geotropism. In general, I will just explain briefly here. Photo means, do remember here, it is nothing but light. Chemo means it is nothing but chemicals. Okay, photo means light, chemo means chemical, thigmo means touch. Whereas hydro means water. And lastly, geo means gravity. Gravity is nothing but earth. Okay, geo we can take either gravity or we can also say earth. Okay, so now we will study what is meant by tropism. And if you understand this concept of tropism, then surely you will better understand about these different types of tropism. So after that we will learn about the hormones in plants. So like human beings, we had different types of hormones produced by the glands. Similarly, plants did not have any kind of glands, but they do secrete the hormones. So there are totally 5 types of hormones. And one more thing, plant hormones. Plant hormones, they are also called as phytohormones. Do remember, in examination the question may be vice versa. They can ask either which are the plant hormones or what are the phytohormones. Both are same. Plant hormones are nothing but phytohormones. Okay, and there are 5 types, namely auxin, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. Once again, auxin, we can say it as gibberellins or gibberellins. Okay, auxin, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. So these are the 5 types of plant hormones or phytohormones which will coordinate or control and coordinate in the plants. So now we will study in detail about these subtopics and we will also see about the functions of these plant hormones. So note down each and every point and maintain a clear record and listen it carefully.
Introduction. As we already know that plants do not have a nervous system and sense organs like eyes, ears or nose like the animals have. Yes, but they can still sense things like light, gravity, chemicals, water and touch by actions of hormones on them. So we can say that plants can sense the presence of stimuli and respond to them. We can also say that the hormones in plants coordinate their behavior by affecting the growth of a plant. Yes, and the effect on growth of the plant can result in the movement of a part of a plant like root or stem. The plants respond to various stimuli very slowly by growing.
Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand coordination in plants, find out immediate response to stimulus, understand movement due to growth, find out hormones in plants, study photoperiodism and flowering. Coordination in plants. Plants lack nervous and muscular system. Plants respond to stimuli by showing 2 types of movements, that is, growth independent and growth dependent. Growth independent movements are usually quicker than growth dependent ones and involve the use of electrochemical signals by the plant. Example, drooping of leaves of a touch-me-not plant when it is touched. Immediate response to stimulus. The movement of plants in the direction of stimulus is known as tropism. You can see here, tropic movements are shown in response to environmental factors such as light, gravity, water, and chemicals. Growth-dependent movements or tropic movements are slow, occurring either towards or away from the stimulus. Phototropism is directional movement of a plant or plant part in response to light. Example, shoots show positive phototropism. Photo means light. Plant roots are negatively phototropic, whereas plant shoots are positively phototropic. Geotropism is directional movement of a plant or plant part in response to gravity. Example, roots show positive geotropism. Geo means gravity. Plant roots are positively geotropic, whereas plant shoots are usually negatively geotropic. Chemotropism is directional movement of a plant or plant part in response to chemicals. Example, growth of the pollen tube towards the ovule. Chemo refers to chemicals. Hydrotropism is the movement of a part of a plant in response to water. Example, roots. Here hydro means water. Movement due to growth. When a tendril comes in contact with a support, then the part of the tendril away from the support grows more rapidly than the part of the tendril that is in contact with the object. Thus, the tendril circles around the object and appears to cling to it. Hormones in plants. Plant hormones or phytohormones are chemical substances produced naturally by plants. They are capable of being translocated and regulate one or more physiological processes where present in low concentrations. Plant hormones and their functions are as given in table.
Coordination in plants is brought about by certain chemical substances which are synthesized by plants in very small amounts. These are known as plant hormones or phytohormones. In plants, phytohormones help to coordinate growth, development, and responses to the environment. They are synthesized at places away from their place of action. Then they are simply diffused to the target organ. Auxins. The best known plant hormone is auxin. The auxins are produced by the cells of the growing apices of stems, roots, and leaves. Functions of auxins: initiates and promotes cell division, causes cell elongation, increases rate and formation of roots, leads to phototropism, leads to production of seedless fruits, parthenocarpy, generally inhibits flowering, inhibits development of lateral buds. Action of auxins can be understood by the following experiments. Experiment 1. Remove the tip of a rapidly growing stem of any seedling. The growth below the cut stops. Replace the detached tip. The stem elongates. Experiment 2. Remove the tip of a rapidly growing stem of any seedling and place it on a lump of gelatin or agar for several hours. Now place the lump on the cut end of the stem. The stem elongates. Experiment 3. Remove the root tip of a growing seedling. Note the length of the root tip after several hours. A sudden increase in length is observed. The absence of auxin at the root tip has enhanced the growth of the roots. Auxins inhibit growth in roots. Gibberellins lead to increase in the length of internodes. Induces parthenocarpy. Can counteract the effect of growth inhibitors like abscisic acid. Promotes flowering in some plants like chrysanthemum. Prevents aging or senescence. Increases cell size of leaves and flowers in some plants. Increases apical dominance in intact plants. Stimulates formation of lateral buds in decapitated stem. Can induce germination in dark. Cytokinins promotes cell division. When in combination with auxins, they can promote cell division even in non-meristematic tissues. Can enlarge cells almost 4 times in some plants like tobacco. Suppresses apical dominance. Delays aging or senescence. Provides resistance against very high and low temperatures. Regulates phloem transport. Phloem carries more nitrogen and other nutrients in the presence of cytokinins. In some cases, they can induce flowering. Ethylene promotes transverse or isodiametric growth and inhibits longitudinal growth. Leads to yellowing of leaves. Leads to fruit ripening. Induces flowering in some plants like pineapple. If applied to cut roots, leads to production of lateral roots. During water stress, leaves produce ethylene which stimulates abscisic acid formation, leading to stomatal closure. To some extent, It causes lowering of oxygen level in the tissues and thus makes stems geotropic. Abscisic acid inhibits growth, thus also known as antioxidant and anti-gibberellin. Accelerate senescence. Promotes abscission of falling of leaves, flowers and fruits of the plant. Its increased production is correlated with stomatal closure, which interferes with uptake and retention of potassium and sodium in guard cells. Inhibits seed germination. Provides resistance against cold. Inhibits mitosis in the vascular cambium. Inhibits synthesis of RNA, proteins, and chlorophyll.
Photoperiodism and flowering. Flowering in a plant occurs at a particular time of the year and is controlled by factors like photoperiod and temperature. The response of plants to the relative lengths and alterations of light and dark periods with regard to initiation of flowering is called photoperiodism. It was discovered by Garner and Allard in 1920. On the basis of photoperiod, plants are of three types, namely short day plants, long day plants, and day neutral plants. Short day plants require longer dark period for flowering. Example, tobacco, rice, dahlia. Long day plants require longer light period for flowering. Example, wheat, oat, radish, lettuce. Day neutral plants are not dependent on photoperiod for flowering. Example, tomato, sunflower.
And students, so by this we will conclude our lesson here. This is the end of this chapter, control and coordination, in that we studied about both control and coordination in human beings, and also human beings means animals, and also in plants. So this is the end of this chapter. In the next class we shall start another new chapter from the biology part. Thank you.